Hello everybody, and this is Narendra Kumar, and we are from Narendra Academy. And today we'll start with the first of the essays, which is of the playlist Master General Knowledge. And we'll be having a series of history essays. And today we have the first essay in the history essay called The Birth of the Universe. So many people ask about the birth of the universe, and we do have a concept called Big Bang, which is really not yet fully validated, but it is a theory, and we will be covering that and the key concepts as to what led the scientists to theorize, at least to propose that there was a Big Bang and the whole universe was formed. So we start with the birth of the universe. This is an essay that I'm going to read out, which I have written. Birth of the universe. The universe came into existence around 1300 crore years back, and this is also 13 billion years back, as 1 billion is 100 crores or 1000 million. That is a long time scale, very, very long back. But we can grasp that in numbers. You need to imagine, as we do, the concept of big numbers. So you have 100, then 1000 years, then 10,000 years, then 100,000 years, 10 lakhs, which means 1 million, then 10 million, which means 1 crore, and such 100 crores or 1000 million. That is a billion. And we have 13 billion years. So you can understand exactly how long back it was. You can grasp that time. So it requires a certain imagination to grasp and hence feel that time backwards. So the universe started 13 billion years back, and they say from a point. And from that point, the Big Bang happened. That is the incredible theory. This is the incredible theory that is presented by scientists. That point from which the Big Bang happened is called singularity. We will state the theory first. First we'll state the theory and then see what exactly is the concept that led to such a theory. So first we'll state the theory. The universe was at a point because of gravity. Simple. As we know, gravity is the power by which every mass attracts every other mass in the universe. So if every mass does that to every other mass, then the universe would be at a point, right? The disturbance of the Big Bang was detected. The disturbance which happened 1300 crore years back was detected now, and the time measured indirectly. They had also found out with measurements and experiments that the universe is expanding. If the universe is expanding, if everything is going away from everything, then there must have been a Big Bang. And all matter must have been at a point anyway due to gravity. This is the incredible theory. Of course, it is still a research topic. Definitely there's a part truth in it, but the whole truth, the full truth, will come later. We don't know a lot about the origin of the universe. It is a fascinating question, and much more would be discovered in the future. But though simple, it requires a huge imagination to grasp this point or concept. To grasp this concept, at least in some terms, we must grasp and feel the concept of gravity. Normally, we know gravity to be the attraction of Earth on bodies. We see this directly. When we leave a body free from a height, it instantly falls. This was the beginning observation. But scientists and the scientifically minded wondered about this. It's a wonder. Why should this body left free from a height fall at all? No push is given to it. And it felt like a wonder. The pull of the earth without contact on bodies that were above it and free. They called it falling, and we still do in our day-to-day life, but actually it is not really falling, it is in fact sticking. Everything is sticking to the earth. The oceans are sticking, the earth, air is stuck, we are stuck. And the Americans are actually upside down to me as I live in India, and I'm upside down to them. Earth is round, and it is only because earth is huge that we feel it is flat. But ages ago, they had guessed that the earth is round, and Eratosthenes had actually not only proved that it is round, he had actually measured the circumference of the earth by a fairly simple but really brilliant measurement process. We will see that in our later videos. Thus we see this fact clearly. Earth is round and things fall on earth. But this is merely earth's gravity. Do the sun, the moon and the planets also pull? Does the earth pull the moon too? This question haunted the scientists, and slowly they realized that the moon is going around the earth and the planets are going around the sun. Why should they go round? Why round? And that also so perfectly. What is the meaning actually of going round? A body goes round another body. When that body, it contains in itself two motions. One towards the pulling body and one tangential. You understand? So the combination of the two forces or two motions makes a body go round another body. I can give you a very simple example here. If your friend is going parallel to you, like he's going in front of you like that. He's going sideways, you are looking at him and he's going right in front of you, from right to left. If your friend is going parallel to you, which means from right to left, and you're looking at him, and you pull him towards yourself, he would neither go parallel to you, right to left, nor come to you. He would go in a circle. So it seems to be as simple as that. So the moon is being attracted by the earth, and it too is falling, in the sense that it is falling and going tangential, and that combination makes it go round. So for our purposes now, let us see this fact of moon falling. So if the moon is really falling and the objects at a height left free are also falling, then gravity is not restricted to earth alone. You get this point? Things are falling on earth, and moon is also falling and going around, but it's falling also. So gravity is not restricted to earth. Gravity is not restricted to earth alone. Everything falls into everything. Everything falls into everything. That is the universal law of gravitation, in essence, discovered by Newton. And we'll go into very sufficient detail later. But I think we got the point here. Bodies are falling. Moon is also really falling, because it's falling and moving tangential, so it's actually falling. Earth is really pulling onto the moon. So Earth is not only pulling bodies left free at a height, Earth is pulling the moon also. The moon falls with a less force because it is at a greater distance, and Newton proved that the universal force of gravitation is proportional to the product of the masses of the two bodies, and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So if you want to understand this statement, it simply means the more each mass is, the more the force of gravity. The greater the distance, exponentially the force reduces. So if the distance is doubled, then the force is reduced 4 times. And if the distance is tripled, then the force is reduced 3 to 3, 9 times. That's the meaning of inversely proportional to the square of the distance. So in an equation form, it comes to F is equal to G m1 into m2 by r square, where G, as we know in mathematics, is a proportionality constant. Now if all bodies are attracting all bodies, then how can the universe be at all? That was the next puzzle. And this puzzle was resolved when they discovered that whenever we detect light coming from anywhere in the universe, its frequency changes. This can happen only if that body from which light is coming and being detected is moving away. Technically, this is called the Doppler effect. So we discovered the Doppler effect. This is present with respect to sound too. If a body is going away from you and also giving out sound, so that sound's frequency changes, and it changes its pitch as the body making the sound moves away. The shrillness of the body is due to the frequency of sound, More frequency, more would be the shrillness. So this is Doppler effect with respect to sound, which makes clear why the sound coming becomes shriller and shriller if it is moving fast away from you. So when a source of sound is moving away from you, its frequency changes. Similarly, in the case of light, when the light is detected, it's constantly changing its frequency towards the frequency of red light, and this is also called red shift technically. So that cleared to an extent the puzzle. The universe is not coming, the whole universe is not coming and attracting and coming to a point because it is expanding. So this was the concept. First they discovered the concept of gravity. Next they discovered the concept of the expansion of the universe. What a wonder, and yet how logical, clear, deep and simple this concept is. Now if it is expanding, then the universe must have been at a point, and there must have been a big bang that gave the initial force or momentum that is still sustained in the universe, making each body go away from every other body in the universe. And that is the meaning of expanding. From the measurements of the rate of expansion, we can calculate the time backwards when it must have been at a point and banged, sort of. So that time, the time of the Big Bang, comes out to be around 1300 crore years or 13 billion years, as we explained. That is how we know about the Big Bang. So there are actually two concepts here: the nature of the universal law of gravitation, and the discovery of the expanding universe logically points to the Big Bang. But remember, it only points. But please remember, this is only a theory and should be part truth only. Much more has to be discovered, and there's huge research going on that in the world to have a conclusive grasp of the beginning of the universe. So for a conclusive proof, what do we need? We need more experimentation, more data, much more data also. We literally have to uncover certain things which are happening in the universe, maybe on a very minute level also, to connect it to the larger level, and reasoning with that new and hitherto undiscovered data. There is still deep mystery surrounding the birth of the universe. So, to summarize, all that we learned was very deep yet very simple, that there is something called universal law of gravitation, there is something called the expanding universe, there was the measurements made, and if you put it all together, it points to something called a Big Bang. Definitely there's much more. This part truth has to be expanded into a fuller, clearer, simpler truth in the future. So that completes the first history essay. We have kept this essay, actually it's a science essay, but we have kept it in history essay because we want to start with the birth of the universe and then go to the stars, the birth of the stars, solar system, earth, life, and then we want to come to man. So that will give a very real direct picture of history. We will actually have a very deep understanding of history if we know the history of the earth and the history of the universe. So it's total history really. Okay. Thank you so much. This is Narendra Kumar, and we'll sign out here. We'll meet again in our next history essay and in the series called Master General Knowledge. Thank you so much.